got a little bit of a countdown going on. Let's see whether it will actually be 30 seconds. Okay, so we've got Facebook Live, Periscope Live, D Live Live, YouTube Live, Twitch Live. Still not. Oh, that's disappointing. There we go. Okay. It was just a little bit shy of 30 seconds, but yeah, we got in there. So another, what am I calling these, episode, of update. The idea here is to basically sort of, like an update, but this is sort of like a crypto update, or Cardano update. So yeah, in this particular instance, so here we're going to be looking at Cardano in Africa. Yeah, these ones of late have been quite sort of Africa specific, because I think this is going to be something that's quite valuable and important in 2021. So we're going to be looking at decentralized identity and conversations which have been happening in the public and private sector with the potential of onboarding millions of users basically pretty soon. And these conversations, from what I understand, is they're in the late stages. So let's have a look.
So, the Atala solution is one I've discussed at length with many stakeholders here in Ethiopia, both government and private sector. We're in late stage discussions with, 3 different parties, all for multi-million user deals on the Atala framework. So the appetite for this product, I would say, is incredibly strong. And going forward into next year, I'm hoping that we can onboard millions, if not more, of users towards this framework. Yeah, absolutely. So, the Atala solution is one I've discussed at length with many stakeholders here in Ethiopia.
Okay, so I'm going to do this. So watch it all the way through and then sort of watch it again, but pause it and sort of give commentary. So Atala, for those who are unaware, Atala Prism is sort of like this identity solution for decentralized identity. That's what he's referring to here.
Both government and private sector. We're
government and private sector is kind of straightforward. But what's interesting here is, like, in the public sector, basically the government, it's a really interesting vector because it means, so you're looking at, I don't know, like particular departments, right, who then have access, because you've got the citizens and you've got the governing body, right? You've got citizens who need services and sort of the governing body who needs to be able to identify who they're interacting with. And yeah, so not only is it going to be a lot of people, it's going to be quite a use case which actually has a lot of what can I call it, a lot of velocity, right? So yeah, by velocity I mean a lot of transactions sort of going back and forth. So it's going to be a need, not just a want. It's going to be a lot of folks, and it's going to be sort of high use, all really good signs.
We're in late stage discussions with 3 different parties, all for multi-million user deals on the Atala framework. So the appetite for this
3 different parties. I'm not entirely sure what party specifically is referring to there, but yeah, that sounds good, and high appetite.
Product, I would say, is incredibly strong. And going forward into next year, I'm hoping that we can onboard millions, if not more, of users towards. We're in late stage discussions.
Yeah, that's a bit that I wanted to actually highlight. So late stage discussions, this means, like, these deals are pretty close to basically like being implemented. yeah, they haven't expanded on the nature of them, but I mean so far it's really good. So yeah, as he said towards the end there, they're looking to onboard millions. So this is really interesting. So if you think of millions of folks, high velocity or high use environment or use cases, for lack of a better phrase, and yeah, the nature of like public and private, right? You've got sort of like different needs on both ends, and where those two actually sort of intersect is really sort of rich. And then the private sector in and of itself is yeah, there's just a whole bunch of potential there, right? So it's going to be interesting to observe, to see what learnings basically come from either side. What can be learned in the private sector that can then be fed into which one did I say? Anyway, yeah, private to public and public back into private. Yeah, so just a little bit more context here. The Atala Prism framework is going to be released in Q1/Q2 of 2021, this year, basically. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite transformative, like, because just the idea of iDentity is really quite rich, and yeah, something I'm actually quite looking forward to playing around with myself in terms of actually trying to implement iDentity within Cast, so the audience watching this can actually have a much richer experience with the different programming, as well as with each other, kind of thing. And yeah, actually on this particular topic, we've actually been working on stuff along these lines on the Proto program. So if you haven't watched that, go over to YouTube and have a watch, or Facebook, I suppose, as well, where these videos, once live, are actually archived on the page. Yeah, have a look at them, and yeah, if you're interested in sort of interacting with us, yeah, reach out, and they'll obviously be evolving. Yeah, so I hope this was somewhat insightful, and yeah, looking forward to Prism, or looking forward to basically decentralized identities, because they're going to be super transformative. Thanks for your time. See you in the next one.